Do a quick refresh check for you guys, so you know I'm not full of it. So as you can see, May 3rd to May 5th, 2024. So this past weekend, almost 120K in sales, so about 40K a day. This is the store that I've had for over 2.5 years, and this one product I've been running for over 1.5 years. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how you can also do this with your dropshipping store and how you can continually scale and outcompete other dropshippers and create an actual branded dropshipping store. So let's jump right into it. All right, guys. So to scale any store, this is assuming that you already have found a winning product with broad appeal. This video is not about that. So if you're looking for how to find a winning product, this isn't it. This is to help people who are already doing 30 to 50K a month or 15K a month, and they have a product with broad appeal that they want to scale much further and much higher and outcompete other dropshippers. And in my honest opinion, it comes down to really only two things. Again, assuming that you've already found the product. It's just creative and offer. That's pretty much it. That covers 90% of it. So website design, sure, that can increase conversions. There's a lot of things you can do to kind of increase conversions. But by far, the biggest factor that you'll have for your conversion rate, again, assuming that your product is good, is your creative and your offer. I can't tell you the amount of times where I've tested a bunch of creatives. I'm like, oh, maybe this product's dead. And then I get a new creative and it just absolutely fucking crushes. Same product, maybe you tested a different avatar, different angle, but the creative is probably the most important part. And then also the offer. So the offer doesn't necessarily have to be a discount, though with dropshipping, I do recommend that, and I'll get more into detail on the offer. As you can see, I've quite a bit more here that I'm going to show you guys, so stick around. And again, this is more for slightly more advanced dropshippers who want to scale. But your offer, yeah, it could be like buy X, get Y. It could be bundles. It could be free gifts with your purchase. Essentially, it's something that you want to where the perceived value of the purchase is worth more than what they're spending. Right. So if you're selling something for 40 or 50 bucks and they're like, oh my God, this is a steal. Like that is an ideal situation. So now I'm going to get into the first thing. So the offer. Again, so I'm going to quickly go over what is an offer. In simple terms, it's just what you're offering your customer. I mean, it could just be, in some circumstances, it's just the product itself, right? It doesn't have to be some discount. Though again, with dropshipping, generally you want to have some sort of discount, and I don't recommend just the 50% off. Like that stuff doesn't work as well anymore. You want to have something more creative. You want to aim to have the perceived value be so much higher than what they're actually paying that it makes it a no-brainer, right? Hormozy talks about this. I think he learned it from Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson learned it from Dan Kennedy or one of those old marketers. Maybe you guys don't even know who that is, depending on your age. Make an offer so good that the customer feels absolutely stupid for not taking it. So here's some easy offers. Buy one, get one, 50% off, free. Buy one, get two free, etc. Like an offer that it's like, oh my God. Like, and obviously this doesn't necessarily work for every product. It works for many because a lot of people will be like, yeah, sure, I'll take another one free. So bundles, like you look at supplements, they crush it with bundles. It's like buy one for 50, buy three for 80 or something. So the perceived value and the deal of the offer is so much higher than what they're actually paying. And things like free gifts as well. Like if you're selling a mattress, you could include like free sheets and free blankets, stuff like that. Something to make the perceived value of the offer, assuming that your margins call for this, but you want to aim to have the perceived value be so much higher than what you're actually selling it for. And that's really it with the offer, guys. Like you don't need to overcomplicate it at all. Look at what other people are doing in the market. It doesn't have to be your market necessarily. So like if you see someone selling, like I said, supplements or someone selling beauty products and you like the offer that they have, see if you can incorporate a very similar offer or the same offer into what you're selling. So again, buy X, get Y, buy one, get one free gifts with purchase. And a way to find what people like is just to go on Amazon. Look at products that people frequently buy with. They have that little section down there. And if it's like a cheap item, but like a semi-high perceived value, you can throw that in as like a free gift. And technically it might hurt your margins a little bit, but your conversion rate will be much higher. And you can also charge a little bit more for the products to offset that because the perceived value is so high. So go into Amazon, look at competitors, see what they're offering, and really just use your brain, be creative. This is a super easy way to scale way past what you're doing right now. Is just dial in your offer. So test different offers, like maybe buy one get one free doesn't work. Try free gifts with purchase. Add a couple like cheap free gifts, that are $20-$30 value that only cost you a few dollars. You can increase the price a little bit while increasing the perceived value of the total offer. So really that's it with offer, guys. No need to overcomplicate it. And now the real meat and potatoes, assuming a lot of times, if you're doing 50 to 100K a month, you might already have a pretty decent offer, maybe some decent creatives. But to make it sustainable and scale for months and months or even years, you have to dial in your creatives. It's the most important part. And if you think about it, it makes logical sense. What's the first thing anyone sees when they're introduced to your dropshipping brand? It's the creative, right? Like, it doesn't matter how good your website is. If your creatives suck, no one's going to see your website. No one's going to see your offer. So you have to dial in your creatives. So what you want to do, who are you selling to, right? Are you selling to 45-year-old women? Are you selling to 18-year-old dudes? Like, you need to figure that out. Come up with some avatars. It doesn't have to be, super in depth. Like, your drop shippers, I know I know how you guys are because I'm one of them. But you want to figure out who you're selling to, right? And the most standard form, I would say, of creative is the hook. So it doesn't have to be like are you struggling with this? Or if you've done this, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it can be just like a really kind of in-your-face hook that is somewhat relevant to your product, but it doesn't even have to show your product. It just has to capture the idea of the hook is to capture the attention of your desired audience, just to spike some curiosity. That's it. Like, you're not trying to sell them on the hook. You're just trying to basically qualify the right people with the hook. Like, you don't want to have like some crazy hook that's completely irrelevant to your product, because you'll just get a bunch of, you might get some cheap clicks, but it's going to be a lot of curiosity clicks. You want to craft a hook that is relevant to your desired audience. And then problem. So what's the person's problem? Is it, they want clearer skin, something to do with their hair. They want to solve their back pain. Failed solution, right? So this is a good one. It's like, I've tried this product and that product and this main brand and nothing worked. I thought I was hopeless. I couldn't find anything. And then you introduce your product, right? You're like, and then I tried this, blah, blah, blah. Now my back pain is free. I can see my grandkids, blah, blah, blah. And at the end, you do your CTA or your offer. So hook, problem, failed solution, product information, offer. This is like a standard, generally a bit more like salesy, Facebook adsy. And then this is another one that can work really well, is a hook. Again, the hook is similar to this, something to where your desired audience sees it and they can resonate and then they watch. And then it's just a testimonial mashup, right? So like 3, 4, 5 testimonials of your target audience. So if it's, 25-year-old dudes or 65-year-old grandmas, you want to have the testimonial mashups. And the key to this is you want them, and this isn't always easy to do. This is why a lot of times when you rip TikToks, they work pretty well because they seem so organic. You want them to be as authentic as possible, right? People really don't like seeing ads unless it's an ad that is like super funny and, it's not always easy to do. Like a really entertaining ad is not easy to make. But if you can get testimonials that seem like truly authentic and they casually speak about all of the objections you see. So you can read your Facebook comments if you're already scaling a little bit. That's a great way. You'll start to see like questions and stuff, or like, oh, this doesn't work, blah, 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 X reason. Or what about this? What about that? What about this? You'll see occurrences of these questions. And then also look on Amazon. Look at the reviews that people mark as most helpful. That's a really good way. Read through their reviews or copy and paste them, put them through ChatGPT. Get go through like 3 or 4 listings, find all those reviews that people find most helpful, chuck them into ChatGPT and say, hey, give me the top 3 reasons that people love this. Give me, and also go to the negative reviews and say, give me the main objections that people have, and read through your comments and have the testimonials include those objections, but sound authentic. Be like, oh yeah, this did that and this did this. But if it sounds super authentic without being salesy, you're still selling the product, but it doesn't seem like an ad, which is massive. And this is one of the things that's working really well for me right now. I'll talk a little bit more about this here in the future. Scaling creatives, right? So if you're a typical drop shipper, you have 1 or 2 ads that are crushing, you're scaling to 50, 100K, 200K a month, and it's starting to die. What you need to do now is create a system to get a bunch of new creatives, and ideally for pretty cheap. And these are some ways where you can get creatives for cheap and have nearly infinite content to test. Yeah, get raw clips from 5 to 10 influencers, right? So these 5 to 10 influencers, ideally you have like different demographics, like a black girl, a white girl, or a white dude, Mexican dude. Like you get different ages as well, depending on what you're selling and who your target market is, because each different avatar will, be attractive to a different person. But you can get raw clips from these and you get them for pretty cheap. Just say, hey, do one like raw testimonial. So just get the product. It can be like a minute or 2 minute long. You don't have to script anything. Just say, tell them like, the main things you want them to say, like, oh, it does this, this, and this, and just incorporate it. And then ask them to do like, 5 to 10 B-roll clips. So just clips of them showing off the product, doing an unbox, like just raw clips, just really raw, like high quality clips. And then what you can do to make this extremely scalable. So you have your 5 to 10 influencers, each one of them, you get like a raw testimonial. Let's just say that costs you, $100 each. So $500, $2,000. Maybe that sounds like a lot, but now you have 10 testimonials and you have, 100 to 150 clips of shots that you've proven through your research and through the ads that you already have working. Now what you can do is use 11 Labs, and you can even clone voices on 11 Labs, right? So you can take one of your influencers, download their voice into 11 Labs, and it'll create a clone. Or you can take like your mom or your sister, like whatever. Or if you're a girl, one of the 3 girls watching this, you can do your own voice as well. But I guess at that point you could just talk into the mic. And what you can do, it's really cool. So you can download their voice, and you can do typical like typing and stuff, and it'll come out. And sometimes it sounds a little robot-y. But on 11 Labs, you can also speak into the mic. And even if you're a dude, if you're using a voice, or a girl's voice in 11 Labs, you can talk to the mic like this and just say like, oh yeah, my skin is so much better now. And what it'll do is it'll change your voice to her voice, but it'll use the inflections and stuff that you use in the recording. So you can talk like a normal person and it'll come out sounding like a normal person, but in the woman's voice. So now what you can do is you can take these clips, rearrange them 1,000 different ways, test different hooks, test a bunch of different things. And now you can use your own voice or a VA's voice, like whatever, to basically have unlimited creatives for like $1,000, right? So this is a really cool way. This is probably like the biggest AI tool I use is 11 Labs to get a bunch of different voices. It's massive. So you can come up with your scripts that you want to talk about, your USPs. You can do this. You can add your testimonial mashups at the end as well. Or you can just do videos like this and they absolutely crush. So that's a way you can get, you can scale very far with cheap content. And once you find a winning combination, so you don't always think of an ad as just like one thing, right? There's different sections of the ad. There's the hook, problem, solution, depending on how you set it up. There's a million different ways to set it up. But what you can do is, let's say you find a winning ad. Now what you want to do is take that exact same winning ad and just change the hook. Change the first, 2, 3, 5 seconds of the video and see if you can get different audiences with that hook, right? So if you're doing a black girl as the hook, try like an older white lady as the hook. Or if you're doing I don't know, just something crazy, like some, I don't know, some, on Instagram you see like those hooks of like a local businesses. It'll be like a donkey kick a chicken, and then the guy catches the chicken in the pan, something like that. Just test a bunch of different hooks, because you know that ad is working, but maybe the hook will attract a different audience, and you can scale that's essentially the same ad, but a new audience will see it because it's a different hook and it attracts different attention. So that's a really easy way to scale as well. Is just take what you have winning and change the hook. Like, it's a super simple way. I've done it 1,000 times. I basically have like one of my winning ads is basically the same video I've been running since October, or no, not even October, like August. And I've just changed the hook several times and found different winning hooks and just slapped it on. Literally just slapped. I edited these myself. Just slapped it onto the same ad, and those perform like crazy because you know the ad works. So if you can change the hook, that's a great way. And then also what you can do is do the opposite. Now this is more work. That's why I like to just test switching the hooks first. But if you really want to scale, now you can take those winning hooks that you have and test different bodies. So test different avatars, different testimonials. That's why I like doing the B-roll clips plus the testimonial. Yeah, it'll cost you $100, maybe $200 if it's a big influencer or whatever for those clips. But you can have infinite creatives to test. And when it comes to scaling on really any platform, the biggest levers will be your creatives. That's how you can outcompete everyone. And if you're first to market with these creatives because they're custom, and it's not always easy to do, that's why you have to test a shit ton. And anyone scaling heavily on Facebook, for the most part, is testing a ton of creatives. You essentially transition from being just a typical dropshipper to almost like a UGC agency within inside your dropshipping business. But that's how you scale to the $500,000, $1 million months, is to do stuff like that. So what's working best for me right now is just raw testimonials that are pulled from TikTok. So customers posting a TikTok and be like, yeah. And it's just super organic, super raw, like honestly ugly as shit. And they do really well, right? Because it's authentic. It's like an authentic review. And it's not always easy to get an influencer to do this. But if you send them some examples and say, look, just sound like this. Don't say, oh, I got this product from X and I love it. Let me tell you why. No, just be like, show them these videos. And sometimes I'll have them, like if I find a competitor or just like a raw TikTok, I'll say, hey, make this exact same video. Like sound exactly the same. Like just change your wording a little bit if you want. Just sound as authentic as possible. Authenticity is like one of the most important things I've noticed. I think especially if you sell to women. So another one that's working, I briefly mentioned it above, is just a hook. So a hook that pulls in my target audience, you know, whether depending on the demographic and stuff, followed by a mashup of like 3 to 4 to 5, 6 even testimonials. Again, super authentic testimonials. Those I'll edit down, you know, so each testimonial is maybe 10 to 15 seconds. But you want to make it as organic feeling as possible. That's what I've noticed has been working a lot for me. You know, typical Facebook ads still crush for some people, but I just find this a lot. One, it's easier to get, and two, it seems to convert so much better. And as I mentioned earlier, if you can get them to mention the objections in the video, like, oh yeah, I tried this before and I didn't really like it, but this is actually pretty sweet. So sounding super authentic while mentioning the objections and the USPs, unique selling points of the product, like you have a winner. So how to consistently test new creatives and angles. Again, as I mentioned before, look on Amazon, look at the top reviews, look at the negative reviews. So look at things that you can mention, figure out who is buying your product. Like look on Facebook and see, okay, 18 to 24-year-old women are buying this product. Or, oh, wow, I thought it would be 65-year-old women, but it's actually 25-year-old women. You know, so look at stuff like that and see, and then get your content based off of the data, right? Look at the data. Read your Facebook comments. Are there any frequently asked questions or frequent objections that people have? You know, it's like, does the product do this? Or I'm confused by this. look at those and incorporate those into your testimonials and into your scripts using 11 Labs. And just continually test, right? So if you're scaling, spending 10, 20 grand a day, always allocate, 500, I would say at least 10% of your budget to testing new angles, new creatives, constantly finding something new that'll work. Momentum, I mean, as with many things in life, momentum is key. So if you're doing really well, if you're scaling, you want to keep scaling and keep going, right? Because Facebook will reward you with better traffic if you keep scaling and, giving Facebook or TikTok or whatever, giving them new creatives to work with, and giving it overall a good user experience for the platform. So that's pretty much it, guys. Depending on when you're watching this, if you made it this far, I'm giving away 20 free calls until Friday, May 10th. So I'm not sure when you'll see this. If not, by the time, a couple weeks after this, I'll have launched like a new group program. That's something I've been working on for a little while now. I think it'll be awesome. So yeah, if you're doing at least, 15, 30K a month, or if you're doing 250K a month and you want to scale much, much bigger and have much more in-depth content and access to me one-on-one. Yeah, appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Appreciate you.